stumble in the dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life feels lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
Homestead-Miami Speedway put on a great race to open up the round of 8, and once again it was a non-playoff driver taking the victory. Here tonight, we set the field for the Championship 4 at Watkins Glen International. Good evening, everybody. My name is Frank Marchese. Thank you very much for making us a part of your evening. Joining me tonight, my broadcast partner, Daniel Paulus Jr. And Daniel, a great race last week. You were here, but there was some behind-the-scenes stuff that had gotten taken care of, so you had to step back. But here tonight, it's going to be a very fun race here at Watkins Glen. It should go like that, only 40 laps, stage break on lap 30. But to set the field for the Championship 4, this is going to be a big night here.
It's going to be an incredible night here, Frank. And last week at Homestead, even though I wasn't broadcasting with you guys, I did watch the race, and it was an eventful race there. No doubt about it, because Homestead brings a lot of action. But you saw a lot of these drivers last week. They were really nervous about going to Watkins Glen this week because they're there's some drivers that aren't really good on road courses, and this could be a make it or break it into the final four. Because once we head to the final four, you only have 2 shots. You got Pocono, you need to run very well to crown that champion in Phoenix the following week after that. So I can see some really good battles here going on from the Glen, and I wouldn't be shocked if we see some drivers get a little iffy here around the bus stop area and the S's.
Certainly, it's going to be something that we're going to be keeping an eye on here all race. But first, let's take a look at the point standings coming into tonight's race. Mike Rominger, 5 points clear for the championship. Michael Thwaits, Nicholas Caldwell are in. Paul Irvin is 2 points out. Austin Karp, 3 points out. Rob Haynes is a further 4 points out, so he is 7 out. And Jacob Jensen right now 10 points out. That is the difference. And with 23 drivers here, that could very well be a big difference coming into this race tonight. Not too many. There's still a lot, but not too many positions to where you can make up points.
Very, very tight points battle going on here from all these drivers tonight in the playoffs. But I've heard some drivers are nervous about tonight, like I mentioned before. But you see some of these drivers who have been lingering back in these midfield towards the back pack. And do you expect to see maybe some of those drivers move up towards the front because they're being a little more aggressive to move on to the next round to have a shot at it? Or do you see them possibly just hanging back there and waiting for the right opportunity for somebody to make a mistake in front of them and take that position very, very easily? That is what we're going to keep a close eye on here tonight.
Yep, absolutely. And another thing we're going to be keeping an eye on tonight is the team championship battle. And you can see that is very, very tight for second all the way through fifth. Primetime Motorsports has this on lock. They're about 350 points ahead. But to see that Rush Hour, Nicholas Caldwell Racing, and Elite Motorsports, also with Haynes Motorsports, are all very, very close. Rush Hour went from fourth to second. Elite went from second to fourth in the team's championship last week at Homestead. So that is a very, very close midfield battle for the team's championship. We are just about to go into the qualifying session here. Should be your standard 10-minute qualifying session. I'm not sure. Okay, it is going to be a lone qualifying, so these drivers will jump on the track single here tonight, as they normally do. And right now, Scott Ramler, who made his season debut last week at Homestead-Miami Speedway, he is the first of the drivers to jump out onto the track. Gary Wells out on circuit as well. Jacob Brower, Alex Reeling, Nicholas Caldwell, Joshua Vidal, Rob Haynes. There you see him, one of the first playoff drivers to jump up onto the circuit as Haynes starts to wiggle some of the cobwebs out of that number 7 and start to put some heat in those tires.
Watch these drivers after getting their tires heated up here. You're going to see these drivers try to go as fast as possible here. You see right where that 87 is. They go around 90 to 95 miles per hour right there. But they're going to gear and push that throttle all the way back up. They're going to be going over 120 miles per hour down this long straightaway. And this is where you want to be side by side on the final lap there. If you're on that inside right where this 87 is, you're on the inside of him, you have a good shot in this corner right here. But again, once you come to this final corner, you're on the outside. So if that driver pushes into you and you get into the wall, your night could be over and you don't move on or you don't win the race. So I could see playoff drivers having a little complications there.
Absolutely. In a lot of places we'll be looking at. There's Jacob Brower diving into turn number 1. A little bit of a lock-up. That's another thing we're going to be seeing a lot of tonight, I'm sure. Drivers locking up that right front tire going into turn 1. Jacob Brower doing just that. Here is Alex Reeling in car number 1. Remember how dominant he was earlier this season at Sonoma. That was his one and only win that got him into the playoffs. Another road course race for car number 1. Unfortunately, he is no longer running for the championship. He was eliminated after the round of 12. But this guy being in this field very well does mean that it could be a non-playoff driver's sweep here in the round of 8.
It could very well be anybody at this point in game, but like you said, that one car has been doing very, very good on the road course. He's got to win there. So that's a driver that we're going to have to keep a close eye on here, because we know he can win at road courses. Could he win his second road course here? And it could have come at Watkins Glen. That is yet to be determined by this one machine, but I think he's got some good races ahead of him coming into the final season here and going into next season.
Now, we jumped off of Gary Wells, who now has jumped up to fourth position here. Wanted to make this point. I have been busy running around all day, haven't checked social media all that much. Not sure if you guys heard that noise in the back, but I saw that on the hood of his car, Toby Keith, whatever, to 2024. I didn't think that was real. I just looked up on my second monitor here. Yeah, Toby Keith is gone as of last night. I completely missed that. So a tribute scheme from Gary Wells here tonight.
Very, very sad to hear the famous country singer Toby Keith pass away yesterday. It was shocking for a lot of us country fans, for sure. But he was a very good singer, and our prayers and thoughts go out to Toby Keith's family here tonight. Just 6 minutes to go here in this qualifying session. You see right there in first place right now for 112.78. That's the 57 of Ramler right now. And Ramler is not a playoff driver. He is currently on the pole, but literally there's only one playoff driver in the top 5 right now. That's the 64 Jensen. Everybody from 3rd to 6th is a non-playoff driver. So it looks like these playoff drivers are very spread out this race.
Yeah, Jacob Jensen is about a 3/4 of a second slower than Scott Ramler as he completes his qualifying time. Here's Nicholas Weatherby, car number 44. 4th quickest thus far, completing his second lap, goes way wide. I believe that's an off track. Yes, it is. So Weatherby will not get this lap to count. Ed Morris is done with his qualifying attempts. Here's Austin Karp, currently 13th quickest at a 1:16.19 as we hit the halfway point of this qualifying session. Logan Koger, Michael Robinson, Nate Orlovsky, Paul Irvin, Carter Casey, Josh Wren, and Michael Thwaits all out on circuit right now. As Austin Karp, the only one on his second lap, the only playoff driver, I should say, on his second lap. Nate Orlovsky is working on lap 2. As a matter of fact, he's coming across the line now. As Orlovsky did not get a valid first lap, he'll go 11th on his second. Here comes Austin Karp completing lap number 2. It will be 13th, so one spot up for Austin Karp. Carter Casey completing lap number 1. Invalid, Josh Wren, 2 invalid laps, so he will start from the back. Here's Logan Koger in the 25. He is working on lap number 2, also invalidated his first lap. So we'll see what Koger can get out of this. Michael Robinson back to the pits. He was working his first lap. Paul Irvin on lap number 1 right now. Carter Casey on lap 2. Michael Thwaits on lap number 1.
Looking like all these drivers right now, Frank, everybody from 5th all the way down to 12th, 13th, they're all running a 114, 115 around here. The only drivers that haven't run that are currently faster than them are all running a 113, 112. I just don't see anybody running any faster than 112 here from Watkins Glen, but I know for sure that you see a lot of these drivers right now running around the same lap times.
Yeah, that's more of an alien time out of Scott Ramler there to be that far ahead of the field as Carter Casey jumps up to 5th quickest at a 1:14.03, just 1/100th of a second faster than Alan Dobbs. Here's Paul Irvin, one of 2 playoff drivers currently out on circuit. Michael Thwaits is the other, a couple corners behind. Ed Morris Sr., Mike Campeggio, and Michael Robinson are the only other drivers that have not yet attempted to put down a qualifying time yet. And it's looking increasingly like they will not, as we are under 2.5 minutes to go here in the session. That is not enough time to get around on the warm-up and the official lap. Paul Irvin goes up to 9th on this qualifying attempt. Here's Michael Thwaits, second place last week. And he will qualify P10, slotting in on the same row as Paul Irvin. So Jacob Jensen, as far as the playoff drivers are concerned, Jacob Jensen has a big advantage. There are 5 non-playoff drivers between him and Ed Morris, who is the next highest running playoff driver.
Which is very shocking. And with just 1:37 left to go here in the qualifying session, do we see aggression coming out of these drivers, Frank? Do we see some strategy come into play?
I would have to assume so. And again, here are the point standings coming in, just to remind you of who is in, who is out. Paul Irvin, Austin Karp, Rob Haynes, and Jacob Jensen on the outside looking in. And that makes it even bigger for Jacob Jensen, being 10 points back from his nearest competitor, and being that high up on the grid. Still quite a ways slower than Scott Ramler at the moment, but to be where he is, to have that kind of a head start, to have a clear look going into turn 1 and 2, clear look going into 1, and then hopefully up the S's for him. That's worth its weight in gold right now for someone in his position.
I couldn't agree anymore.
We have 30 seconds left to go here in this qualifying session, so still a little bit of time. Nobody else out on track, no one able to get laps done. Mike Campeggio, Michael Robinson, Josh Wren, and Ed Morris will line up via their iRating, which is what we will show you in just a moment before the qualifying session flips on over into the race. It'll be 40 laps of racing here tonight from Watkins Glen. Stage break will be at the end of lap 12, and that will be the only full course caution that we will see here this evening. We will be going straight green flag racing the entirety of this race, minus that stage caution. Let's now take a look at the grid here for tonight's race. Scott Ramler with a time of 1:12.785 will sit on pole in just his second race of the season. Jacob Jensen, the first of the playoff drivers, will flank him to his left side, I believe it will be. Alex Reeling and Nicholas Weatherby will make up row number 2. Carter Casey and Alan Dobbs in row 3. Joshua Vidal and Ed Morris, the second highest qualifying playoff driver, will make up row 4. Row 5 will see Paul Irvin and Michael Thwaits. Daniel Krim and the points leader Mike Rominger will sit in row number 6. Rob Haynes, Nate Orlovsky, row 7. Gary Wells and Austin Karp in row 8. Row 9 will see Jacob Brower and Nicholas Caldwell, Logan Koger, Ed Morris Sr. in row 10. Row 11 will go to Josh Wren and Mike Campeggio, with Michael Robinson lining up as the lone car in row number 12. Again, Morris, Wren, Campeggio, and Robinson lining up via their iRating, their road iRating this week. As we'll take a look at the weather conditions here for today's race. You saw that bunch of clouds roll in once the session flipped over. We are just almost past 3:30 here in sim time. Winds, we've seen them go as high as 10 miles an hour towards the west. 82-degree ambient temperature, 94-degree track temperature, so it is a little bit warmer of a day here at Watkins Glen. Should be a fun one, as the cars are already rolling off here for the start of this race. So Scott Ramler and Jacob Jensen will lead the field to green.
This is going to be a very exciting event here tonight. Final race in a round of 8. And after this race, we're going to determine who makes it or breaks it into the Final Four championship here in an Extreme Xfinity Series. See right there, these cars have wonderful paint schemes going on. One driver I want to point out is that one car currently sitting in the second row. He's got a win at Sonoma earlier on, Frank. I think he's going to be a tough driver to beat here, especially since we're on a road course.
Yep, certainly. I do want to give a preemptive apology here. For those of you who have been watching the races that I have broadcasted recently, you will know that I have been having some issues as far as stream quality. Now, these are issues that I have never had before, so it's baffling me as to why I'm having these issues in the first place. But also on my second monitor, I just got a crash alert from my graphics card, so I'm not sure what crashed. It's not the stream. We're still live. It's clearly not iRacing, and it's not SDK. So as long as it's none of those three, we should be okay. But a preemptive apology if anything goes black in a very short, abrupt manner here as we get set to go down onto the front straightaway, get this race going here as we are just about ready.
Yeah.
Just about ready to get the field locked in for the championship four. Scott Ramler out in front, leads the field into the restart zone. Green flag is in the air. We are racing at Watkins Glen.
Great launch there by 57 of Ramler.
Big wiggle out of Nicholas Weatherby. May have gotten hit by the 37 of Dobbs just behind, but the first step is completed. Everyone's gotten through turn one.
Everybody's filing in very clean, going through the S's, coming out of the S's now. That 57 having a nice little advantage over the 54 of Jensen. Now as they head into the bus stop, are we going to see any mistakes here? It looks like they're all going to stay single file here.
Yep, everyone looking like they're just trying to get their feet wet here early. A single file into the bus stop. The procession goes, and it looks like one driver has not made it. Two drivers, as a matter of fact, have not made it. Michael Robinson, car number 8, Josh Wren, the 36, have not made it through the bus stop.
I mentioned this before in the pre-race and during qualifying. The bus stop might be a little difficult there to go too wide, but we're going to have to take a look at a replay later on to see what happened there. As you see right there, the 47 making a nice pass there.
Daniel Krim trying to keep close with Paul Irvin. Krim is up 2 positions. Biggest mover on this first lap is car number 25, Logan Koger, up 5 spots from where he started. Rob Haynes getting around one of his playoff competitors, Mike Rominger, as somebody wheeled in the back. I believe that was Austin Karp. Yes, it was. So Austin Karp back to 17th position, as up here at the front, Scott Ramler, Jacob Jensen, Alex Reeling, your top 3. Very close nose to tail. Let's go back and take a look and see what happened going into the bus stop on lap 1 with Wren and Robinson.
See right there, the 36 of Robinson heading into the bus stop there. Just locks it up there, gets the 8 into his rear, gets a little help from the 24 there, completes the spin around, and the 8 just had nowhere to go and got collected with the 36.
Very interesting move there as Alex Reeling has had a slip up. He was just behind the top pair. Now he finds himself off of the podium, about to lose the 4th spot to Carter Casey. Heavy braking zone down into turn number 1. And Reeling on the outside, able to keep that momentum up, at least for the moment. Able to hold on, but Carter Casey going into the S's has the spot. A little bit of contact with the arm cone.
28th Carter Casey now making his way towards the bus stop here. Now listen to him brake and shift.
Oh, this is onboard Alan Dobbs going into the bus stop. Dobbs tried to put a move on Reeling.
Oh, the throttle right there is going to start hitting the throttle right about now. And you see right there in front, the one getting very loose coming off of that turn.
Really pushing this car is Alex Reeling, and knowing that you're going to get these tires off at about 9 laps time, may as well push a little bit, try to make up as much time as you possibly can, as we see how Alan Dobbs is working through this race course.
And down the front straightaway going to turn 1, the heavy braking zone here. Don't want to hit anybody. And very smooth there for Dobbs. And see right there, once again, the one of Reeling getting very loose there.
Dobbs got out of that corner very nicely, as a matter of fact. Able to get right back up to the back bumper of Reeling, but unfortunately for Dobbs, not close enough to Reeling. And Dobbs can't relax either, because he's got Joshua Vidal just behind him as well in that Denso number 26 Toyota Camry. So he can't get too crazy trying to put an attack on the one.
It's a three-man horseshoe right here. You see right there, the one still continuing to get very, very loose there, coming off out of the bus stop. But now we're going to probably see the 37 of Dobbs make a move here within the next couple of laps. You see right there, a car off track. I do believe that is the 36.
Yes, it was the 36 of Josh Wren. Off circuit. One driver did not start this race. That would have been the 3 of Jacob Brower. We saw him briefly in qualifying, so we do know he made a qualifying attempt, as Reeling really has a moment going into turn number 1, and that will definitely lose him a spot to Alan Dobbs. So Reeling back down to 6th.
Now under fire from the 26 of Vidal. Can the 26 get that run and get around the one? What we're about to find out here going towards the bus stop. You do not want to lock your brakes up or make one little mistake, because if so, you will lose another position.
One playoff driver has already had a little bit of an issue. Here is car number 48. This is Paul Irvin, the first of the cars on the outside looking in. This is going into turn 1. He's got the 47 of Daniel Crimp behind him. That's too hot going into the corner. Tried to turn it a little bit too much for how fast it was going. And he drops from 9th down to 16th. Does Paul Irvin. There he is.
I've seen a lot of drivers do that in the past here at the Glen. It just happens sometimes. If you go in a little too high, you're going to spin yourself out. But right now you see a great battle going on between the 4 and the 12. Right there in the 4 is Mike Rominger, side by side with the 12s. They head down the front straightaway.
Well, Rominger had the move made going into the final corner, but something happened on corner exit, and the 4 ends up losing a spot to Logan Koger. Koger just about got into the back of the 12, so he now has to reset behind the 4. So they go into the final corner, turn 12, in this configuration. They make about 4 passes, and they come out in the same configuration.
I think we're going to see a lot of great passes going on here. You're going to see drivers making that lockup mistake, especially turn 1. And you're going to see them make a mistake probably off of the bus stop if they lock up. So it just happens here at the Glen. That's all I can say. It just happens here. All these drivers are fighting for a position, especially if you're in the playoffs and you want to try to get as many positions as possible. You see right there, 29 on the outside of the 87. 87's going to dive it in there and the inside of the 29, and he is clear very, very easily as they exit that turn.
It's Gary Wells through turn 11 on Nate Orlovsky, and now Orlovsky has to worry about Paul Irvin. Up front, not missing anything, Scott Ramler still holding service out in front. Jacob Jensen, the highest running of the playoff drivers, qualified in second. He's been running in second all race, 2 1/4 seconds behind Scott Ramler at the moment. Nicholas Weatherby holds third, Carter Casey fourth, Alan Dobbs 5th. Joshua Vidal has gotten around Alex Reeling. So that is 6th and 7th done. And then in 8th, that is where you find the next playoff competitor. That is Ed Morris, car number 7. So playoff drivers in 2nd, 8th, and 10th. That's Rob Haynes. 2 of those drivers who are in the top 10 on the outside looking in as far as the playoffs are concerned.
Speaking of playoffs, there's only 3 drivers inside the top 10 right now, currently in the playoffs. We have the 64 of Jensen still running second place, almost a 3 second behind the 57 of Ramler. You got in 8th place the 7 of Morris, over 13 seconds back, and then the 99 of Haynes rounding out the top 10. This is concerning me a little bit that we're not seeing a little more playoff drivers making their way towards the top 10. But I mean, it looks like they're all hanging around the top, outside the top 10, actually, inside the top 15.
Paul Irvin just ahead of Nicholas Caldwell, falling back a little bit. There is some left rear damage on that 48. Should not be affecting him all that much. The front end looks clean on that 48 car. A moment ago, we were talking about Logan Koger going into turn number 1. Looked like he got in a little hot. This is the very next lap. Number 25, he'll get in a little bit too hot again. Does the same thing.
Whoa.
Just a little bit further through the corner than Paul Irvin did. And unlike Paul Irvin, there's the poof. There's the engine gone for the 25.
Imagine if he could have saved that. That would have been an awesome save there for the 25 of Koger, but very unfortunate for him. And see right there, 57 of Ramler still leading this pack on lap 9 out of 40 from Watkins Glen. Final race in the round of 8. All these drivers fighting for position, fighting for a spot in the championship. You see right there the 7 of Morris going wide off of turn number 1. So is the 1 of Reeling.
These two were the other way around the last time we saw them. Here is what happened on the last lap here for Ed Morris to be able to get around Alex Reeling. Reeling really blew the carousel, unless he got a slowdown penalty coming out of the chicane. There we go. Now we're back live. Yeah, unless he got a slowdown penalty coming out of the chicane, really blew the carousel that allowed the 7 to get back past him. Jacob Jensen must have had an off somewhere, or he has really backed off. Scott Ramler is now 5 seconds ahead of Jacob Jensen over the last couple of laps. Let's take a look and see here. That is how much Scott Ramler has been gaining on Jacob Jensen over the last 4 laps. 9/10 of a second, 6, 8, 1.5 seconds. Jacob Jensen has lost to Scott Ramler, and he's already lost a half a second here in just the first half of this lap.
Well, to me, it sounds like he's pushing it a little too hard early on, losing that tire wear very easily here. We're only on lap 10, 30 laps to go. That's a long way to go. And with these tires, he's probably going to fall back a little more.
We do have a caution coming out in the next couple of laps. So that will be the one and only time that these drivers will get the break of having a caution tonight. And I wonder if Jacob Jensen, there's 2 things that Jacob Jensen could have done, as he's lost another 1.3 seconds this time around.
Mm-hmm.
Jensen has either, as you said, ran the tires off, or he has realized, okay, I'm not catching Ramler. Let me just back off, try to save a set of tires, and just not push the car at all here in the final couple of laps, knowing I'm not going to win the stage.
And when you think about it, Frank, you also see, could we see drivers come in on the final lap of this stage?
Not on the final lap. Pit road will be closed. Pit road is, as a matter of fact, closed now. But I would have to think everybody's coming in during the stage break. as we see Nicholas Weatherby and Carter Casey fighting to stay in the same order that they are in, if you're Weatherby. Not too much moving around here going on through the field as Alex Reeling has lost another spot, this one to Michael Thwaits, so that gives Thwaits some playoff points, or at least one playoff point. As Scott Ramler now finding himself 8 seconds clear and growing rapidly. Final lap of the stage.
These 4 inside the top 10 right now, playoff drivers. These 4 playoff drivers are going to get those points, and that's going to help them a lot here because a lot of the playoff drivers didn't make it inside the top 10. So that's going to be very big loss for them, but a very big win for these 4 playoff drivers. And everything's running smoothly here at the Glen.
Yeah, it has been. We've had a couple of incidents. Only one playoff driver has run into some trouble, but has kept it rather minor. As we go through the final couple of corners, Scott Ramler started on pole by about 0.7 of a second. He has dominated this first stage, leading from pillar to post. Scott Ramler will win the stage here tonight at Watkins Glen.
What a great job by the 57. Ever since he took that green flag, has been leading all these laps and has done an amazing job. You know, Frank, if he was in the playoffs, I bet he would have moved on to the next round. Just the way he races on these road courses.
Yeah, he has been very, very good here in his first couple of races back. And there is the caution as Michael Thwaits, the last of the drivers in the top 10, gets the caution, gets to the line, gets the caution. And with that, we will take a quick break and be right back. You are watching the Extreme Motorsports Xfinity Series from Watkins Glen International.
Allow Extreme Scoring to do the work for you.
Ricmotech high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
The search is over. The most comprehensive oval scoring solution is here. Featuring oval playoffs, adjust drivers per round, custom number of rounds, custom playoff points, provisionals, optional win and you're in, custom playoff displays, rookie championships, optional minimum participation, and load those results in seconds. Visit extremescoring.info today.
Ricmotech high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com. Ricmotech high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
The search is over. The most comprehensive oval scoring solution is here. Featuring oval playoffs, adjust drivers per round, custom number of rounds, custom playoff points, provisionals, optional win and you're in, custom playoff displays, rookie championships, optional minimum participation, and load those results in seconds. Visit extremescoring.info today.
About to go back, green flag racing here from Watkins Glen International. Just about at halfway, Scott Rambler, your stage winner, out in front of this field as the field doubles up once again. Again, Jacob Brower did not start this race. Michael Robinson and Mike Campeggio have been on pit road since the incident on lap 1. Logan Koger is done. Josh Wren is still plucking away at the back of the field in that number 36. And again, an early apology in case anything goes haywire here. Like I said earlier on, I had a notification that something crashed. Not sure what it was, but we're plugging away right now. Green flag is in the air. Back racing here at Watkins Glen, and a great jump from Scott Rambler. Oh, into the wall goes Jacob Jensen hard.
37 of Dobbs. That's a big one. The 26 of Vito's involved. Holy moly. And we stay green here at the Glen. Look at the damage on those machines there. Look at the 64 right there.
And that is massive for Jacob Jensen because he had been running in second the entirety of this race and was the furthest one out as far as the playoffs was concerned. That restart there has done his season in. Alan Dobbs also having problems. He got caught up in that as well. Same thing with Nicholas Weatherby, the 44. Here he is. Doesn't appear to be too damaged up.
Very, very heartbreaking there for the 64. Having a good, solid night. And just like that, Frank, one little mistake set off a whole big crash then into turn number 1. And Jensen just got very unfortunate in that instant and ended his playoff hopes. Let's take a look at this replay.
Yep, off the start. Here's the replay. Alan Dobbs just behind Jacob Jensen. Nicholas Weatherby is there. Ooh, Dobbs just missed the zone. Then Vidal and Weatherby go into the corner as well. Boy, that's just so unfortunate for Jacob Jensen. Here, let's ride on board here. We'll ride on board with the 37 of Dobbs here on this restart. Boy, I don't know if Jensen
it doesn't even sound like he lift.
I don't know if Jensen braked earlier than what Dobbs was expecting. This is from on board of Nicholas Weatherby here. So he's clear of Weatherby. Oh,
I think the 64 slowed down a little early. Because to me, it looked like that. It looked like the 64 either way was gonna miss turn 1.
There's the contact, and Joshua Vidal, I think, jammed on the brakes, possibly expecting the 64 to come bouncing back out onto the track, and ended up pinching the 44 between himself and the 37. But still green. Rob Haynes, now your highest running playoff driver. There he is, car number 99. Ed Morris just behind, as is Michael Thwaits. There's Jacob Jensen still rolling that car around here, trying to pick up as many points as he possibly can. Currently now in 18th, one lap down. And a big mess here as Nicholas Caldwell tries to get around Paul Irvin.
Don't want to be hitting negative Nancy here, but the 64 is already a lap down. We're only on lap 20 out of 40, and I know he's trying to get as many points as possible, but he just doesn't have the speed anymore. I think it's just going to get worse and worse as time goes on. But you see a lot more of these playoff drivers now inside the top 10. Like, we haven't seen Caldwell, we haven't seen Irvin, we haven't seen Thoughts, we haven't seen anybody else, but we have seen Haynes and Morris inside the top 10. But these other playoff drivers, they're coming around here.
For Jacob Jensen, you never know what can happen. Remember the very first playoff race back at Dover earlier this season. Everything was fine for the first 100 laps, and then it was the final 45 that got everybody. And I think only one or two playoff drivers escaped with nothing as we ride on board here with Michael Thwaits. A little bit of a wiggle there out front from Ed Morris. Two primetime motorsport teammates, but two drivers running for the championship just the same. Chasing another driver who is running for a championship. So I think we've had another incident with Joshua Vidal. Oh, yep, there he is, sideways in turn 1. That's his back bumper off in the grass.
Man, this just keeps getting worse and worse for this 26 machine. Got collected in an incident on the restart, and now got in another incident once again here, and we're just past halfway, 20 laps to go.
It's going to be even worse for one driver because he got involved with somebody else. Playoff driver Paul Irvin, the first of the drivers outside looking in. Here they are going into the final corner. Irvin battling with Nicholas Weatherby. Irvin loses it and then right back into the middle of the circuit. An engine gone. That black puff of smoke there that you see, that's the engine. So that is Paul Irvin's championship most likely done.
Man, everybody's getting in an incident here tonight, ending their championship hopes, but an eventful night so far with just 19 laps to go. You see right there, the highest playoff driver, 99 of Haynes. Right behind him in fourth is 7 of Morris. Fifth place is Thwaits, my bad. Seventh place is the 34 of Caldwell, and 10th place is the 4 of Rominger. And Frank, in these past weeks, Rominger's been doing very, very good.
Yeah, he absolutely has. He has been very good as far as the tire wear and the tire saving goes. Unfortunately for Rominger, this is more of a speed track than a tire wear and tire conservation track. He's 21.5 seconds behind Scott Ramler as it sits right now. So Rominger in that 10th position. And really quick, while all this is going on, we'll remind you again of the points championship race. Rominger, Morris, Thwaits, and Caldwell are in. We now know that it's going to be a race between Austin Karp and Rob Haynes, with Paul Irvin and Jacob Jensen effectively done here this evening. Austin Karp running in 14th at the moment. And Rob Haynes, currently your highest running of playoff drivers, running in third.
Race is winding down very, very fast here. And when you think about road courses, Frank, Watkins Glen has been basically the popular one out of all of these road courses that we've gone to, such as Circuit of the Americas, the Roval, Sonoma. It just seems like Watkins Glen is the most popular, and I think that's because, you know, it's more high speed. You got the bus stop. You got a simple road course that it's where there's a lot of action going on no matter what part of the track you're on.
As our good friend Tony Trapasso always used to say, with this being his home track, living in upstate New York, he always said that this is an oval with one left. It's a right-handed oval with one left, and it rings true. As a matter of fact, they're going through that left right now, or the 34 and the 47 now into one of the rights. But yeah, when you look at the racetrack, and we have a very cute track map that we can pull up on the right side of the screen right now. It effectively is. It's a right-handed oval that's pinched at two spots, the middle of the S's and that penultimate corner, that left of turn 11. And yes, I am one of the old contingent that not only recognizes the bus stop as a corner, I recognize it as 4 separate corners, as it was for so many years. Now they don't even count the bus stop as corners anymore. It's just, was this a 7-turn track now? Nope. It's 12 to me, and it always will be.
I never understood why they took it away. I'm gonna have to agree with you, Frank. I always thought it was 12 too. But you've seen in the past here, we've gone to Sonoma, we've gone to Watkins Glen. Do we see a new road course potentially make its way to the XMS Xfinity Series next season?
I'm
possibly.
not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, we've seen good racing on these road courses, though, I will say.
Yeah. I mean, one road course I would like to go see is Montreal, or what is it called? Charlotte Roval.
Yep,
One of those two, I would like to see one of those two in the playoffs next season. I think that would be a very good challenge for these drivers.
We were just at the Charlotte Roval this past Saturday night for the ISNF Cup Series. Very good race there. 39 drivers they got for that race at the Charlotte Roval. You figure the road course races will be the ones, we'll sit this one out, but nope.
Yeah.
ISNF had their people show up in force, and I would say this is on average as well for for the Extreme Motorsports Xfinity Series. These drivers have all showed up. The drivers that are here every single week, and even some of the part-timers are here running this race. As Austin Karp currently sitting in the 15th position, just got passed by Nate Orlovsky. As a couple of incidents to catch you up on. This is from a couple of laps ago. Jacob Jensen's night going from bad to worse. Going into turn 1. And engine gone.
Man.
So that will officially put an end to Jacob Jensen's night. And then just a moment ago, Ed Morris Sr., car number 5, goes into the bus stop. A little too much curb on the front. Gives him a bad entry into the second corner.
Very
and
close.
Fortunately gets away with no damage.
Very, very close there for the 5 machine. I thought he was going to hit that inside wall there, but he did an excellent job keeping it off the wall. But, you know, you see these part-time drivers and drivers that normally don't want to race on road courses come to this road course, and that's because, you know, it's I don't want to say an easy road course, but you know, it's a fun road course to race at compared to like Sonoma, where there's a lot more challenges at that track. You got to know your road course very, very well. And I think Watkins Glen, for some of these first time drivers going on road courses, is really helpful for them to learn how to brake, when to brake, and when to get into that throttle once again. But what do you think about Montreal? Do you think that would be a good road course to try in the future?
It's one that the Xfinity Series has gone to before, the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. I think it's another one that's fairly simple. You have a couple of chicanes with a couple of hairpins down at the other end of the circuit. And that's pretty much it. So not all that technical would be the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Of course, me with my many years of watching Formula One, I know the circuit very well. Can't say I know it all that well in a stock car, though. As we see Ed Morris.
What would be the most challenging road course you've ever seen before?
Ooh. I'll tell you what, doesn't matter what game it is or sim, it's whether it's iRacing, whether it's the Formula One games, whether it's Assetto Corsa or Gran Turismo or Forza. I have driven on Suzuka so many times, and I can never get it right. I can never get that track dialed in. Never. It's a classic circuit. There's so much history there. I can't figure it out.
I hear a lot of drivers have a hard time with that road course, just the way it's laid out. But, you know, drivers that have won there, they've challenged it, and they should be happy that they challenged it because, like you said, it's a very challenging track. I've seen it. I have raced on it maybe once or twice. The braking was really hard for me. But you see right here, 12 laps to go in the XMS Xfinity Series, the final cutoff race here in the round of 8. 4 drivers are going to move on here, Frank. This is basically it. This is all what it came down to, a whole seasons of work put down into this one race to get your hopes into the Final 4. But remember, we go to Pocono next week. We have 2 races in the Final 4, Pocono and Phoenix. So if something goes wrong in Pocono, could that be a risk of ending your championship hope?
Yeah, that's one of the things that this series has done, as we see Daniel Krim work his way past Gary Wells. That was one thing that XMS really wanted to do, was not make it a one-off or a quote-unquote fluke possibility where a driver could just have a dominant season and then just one bad race and he's not the champion. So they wanted to do the 2-race championship 4, which I think is a perfect way to do it, or if not a 3. As we see now, battle for the first spot of the playoff drivers in a battle for third, Rob Haynes and Ed Morris. These drivers, I'm sure, are going to be wanting to come down to pit road here soon, as the last time they came down was under the caution on lap 14. They've put now 14 laps on the cars, on the set of tires, on the fuel. I would have to assume they're going to have to come in again, as Gary Wells, as a matter of fact, is going to do just that right on cue. Thank you very much, Gary, for watching the stream.
Well, I mean, if you see one driver come down pit road, you're assuming they're all going to start coming down pit road. They're probably going to make one more pit stop, and that is going to determine whether or not where you finish. And you saw right behind the 99, the 7 of Morris get very loose, and that's because there's really not that much grip anymore. You see him going through the bus stop. Very good for Rob Haynes in that 99 machine. And look to the inside. It's the 7 of Morris. He's going to go for third right now.
And Morris got the spot. Thank you very much. Shoddy camera work. See that pass one more time going through the carousel. Maybe.
It was a very, very smooth pass. I think that's the smoothest I've ever seen one.
Just got out too wide out of the bus stop and around. Went the 7 into third.
He's like, thank you very much.
Yeah, we take those, is probably what he's saying, as Nicholas Weatherby comes down pit road. Clean pit road entry. We take those too. Nicholas Caldwell coming down as well. So that's 7th and 8th on circuit coming in, as Scott Ramler now catches up and puts a lap on Austin Karp. So of the drivers that were on the outside looking in, 2 of them are out. One of them is in 4th and the other one just got lapped. So it's looking as though the 4 that were in at the start of the day, currently running 3rd, 5th, 7th, and 9th, are going to be the 4 that we are going to see at the end of the day going into the championship 4.
Look at Rominger right now, currently P7. But imagine if a caution came out here, Frank. Imagine if that came out. What would be going through these drivers' mindsets? You think they're like, do I risk it, get a win, or do I want to not risk it and potentially get a good finish?
I think what would be said was, when did this league start throwing cautions for entertainment purposes? I think that would be the very first thing that these drivers would think. Short of what the heck, and I think that would be next, as Rob Haynes in danger of falling back to Michael Thwaits inside of a second. And by the way, we just saw Mike Rominger. He has 17 seconds up to Daniel Krim and 17 seconds back to now Nicholas Weatherby, who just came out of pit road. So he is in a very safe 7th position here at the moment, as we work lap 31 of 40, just 9 laps to go. Scott Ramler about to come up and put Nicholas Caldwell a lap down. That would leave the top 9 on the lead lap. There's some smoke there. Somebody must have gotten loose. Up. Showing Gary Wells has had an incident. Car number 16 going into turn 1. And watch out, watch out, watch out.
Back end just came around.
Ooh.
Yeah, that took care of that front.
No blown motor before he could get it towed into the pits, so he should be okay to return. It's going to take a couple of minutes, but better than the engine being blown, otherwise he'd be done. Battle for position here, back of the pack.
Oh, look at the 1.
Alex Reeling doing everything he can to try to get around Joshua Vidal. And Reeling has been wild here tonight. He has been sliding that number 1 Appalachian State Ford Mustang all over the place here tonight. We expected him to be up towards the front. Again, he had such a dominant performance at Sonoma. You almost had him locked as the race winner here tonight, or at least contending. And short of the first 5 laps, unfortunately, Reeling has been nowhere here tonight.
No, he really hasn't. And he's currently P12 and minus a lap down. It looks like he's struggling with the handling of that car right now. You see that rear damage on the one car. I'm sure that's not helping at all. But I think he's just going to have to stick it out. I think he's going to get at least a top 15 finish here tonight, 1 lap down. But, you know, with 7 to go, I don't see anything changing. And he's really struggling.
Drifting through turn 4, not something you usually see around Watkins Glen. Oh, into the inside wall.
He's going through the grass.
He cut that arm.
Pop it there.
Yeah, he cut that corner, that first corner into the bus stop a little bit too hard and caught the end of the Armco. Let's jump on board here and see what happened. Here we go. Here it is. Yeah, just cut it too close and nailed the end of that Armco. Could have been a lot worse, but still not good.
Wow. That was, I don't even know what to say.
We see you in chat, Jacob Jensen. That was a very unfortunate end to your season, and I'm sure you are going to give it one hell of a run next season, but just unfortunate the way it ended for you here tonight as we see a battle for 4th continuing on as Rob Haynes starting to pull away a little bit from Michael Thwaits. What was about an 0.8 of a second gap has now pretty much doubled.
That's
Joshua Vidal.
Is that going to bring out a caution? That's the
No.
question.
No,
Nope.
no cautions here tonight, just that stage caution. See what happened here with Vidal. That was very interesting because he was by himself.
Yeah. Did he get loose? Let's see. Here he comes down the back straightaway.
You can see him wiggling and just lost it.
Tire going down? Do you think that?
No, that's...
I never seen that before.
Yeah, that's... I mean, that was... a
You can
more
see him wiggling a
controlled-
little bit, but like... It's like it looks like it just turned dead right.
That's a lot more of a controlled wiggle than what Alex Reeling had earlier on.
That was the first for
Oh,
me.
Ed Morris is
Oh.
around. This is
Oh,
in
no.
turn 1.
Come on, collect it up. You can get a top 5. Just don't lose to the 47 of Krim.
Second in points is Ed Morris, so he is safe, but there's something, he's feeling something awkward
there's
with
the
that
one.
car.
I don't know if I would feel safe about around that one car right now because he's all over the place.
There's Daniel Krim. You saw him in the background just 3 seconds behind. Let's see what happened with Morris here. This is going down into the braking zone in turn 1. You just
You
go
lock up here.
too hot.
Downshifting. That rear's going to come right around. Yep, there it is.
Just too much
force.
too much speed to try to ask the car to make that kind of turn. And here we go. Inside of 5 laps to go. The pit stops have started. 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Carter Casey, Rob Haynes, and Michael Thwaits down pit road.
Don't make any mistake. Do not, speed coming off a pit road. You don't want that. That's a big no-no. This is going to decide whether or not who is going to be out in front of who. As you see right there, 00 making his way off a pit road. See right there behind him, Haynes in the 99 also getting done with service. The 12 of the Thwaits is done. And right there, the 57 of Rambler still leading. Has been dominating this whole race here tonight from the Glen.
Gas and go for those drivers as Scott Ramler He's led every single lap thus far. He is well on his way to the Grand Slam here tonight. Fastest lap, most laps led, all the laps led. Pole and the race win. Just got to hold it together for 3 more laps. As Daniel Krim has gotten around, and the reason why Daniel Krim has gotten around Ed Morris, we're going to see it right now. Ed Morris around backwards. This is in turn 5, or going into the bus stop, coming off the hill. And then, oh.
Wheel disconnect?
Yeah, that had to have been a hardware issue. There he goes, sliding off a 4. Seen a couple of guys do that already.
Puts in reverse, turns the wheel.
Watch the wheel. Watch this wheel snap left. Oh no, he just... I think he just hooked it.
Stuck left?
I think he just hooked it, unless... I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he's wearing a VR headset where that could have gone blank, or the screen would have went black, or what happened there. But typically, if the wheel disconnects, it's a very vicious, abrupt snap, and that's not what happened there.
That's very strange for the 7 of Morris. He is now currently P14. 2 laps to go here. The highest playoff driver tonight has been Haynes in that 99 machine, besides the 64, who has done an amazing job. Unfortunately got collected, and that ended Jensen's night and a playoff spot in the next round. You see right there, 47 of Krim, 37 seconds back, currently P2 behind the 57 of Ramler, but Ramler's just sailed off pretty much this whole race.
Yeah, he has been in another zip code all night long as we now begin the final lap here tonight. Scott Ramler, Daniel Krim, Carter Casey, Rob Haynes. And then this battle here, Michael Thwaits versus Nicholas Weatherby. Weatherby looking to the inside in the first of the corners through the bus stop. And Weatherby will jump, quite literally, into the 5th spot.
Now, is that 12 of Thwaits going to try to make a move here? Is he just going to be like, nah, I'm good with a 6th place finish?
Yeah, he's in. 2nd highest running of the playoff drivers, so he is in. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting with Rob Haynes and Nicholas Caldwell. I think those are the 2 that we're really going to have to watch. I think Caldwell just does have him beat. So I think it's going to be the 4 that we're in to start the night are going to be the 4 that are going to leave with a fight for the championship going into Pocono. But one man didn't need to worry about Pocono. He was just worrying about tonight. Scott Ramler gets the job done, wins here at Watkins Glen, and it's a non-playoff driver sweep here in the round of 8 of 4 checkered flags here in the playoffs. 3 have been taken by non-playoff drivers.
What a great job by the 57 of Scott Ramler. Now driving backwards into the S's.
Yeah, it didn't take him all that long to get that car backwards now, did it?
No, it didn't, but the top 3, no playoff drivers inside the top 3. Does that change all next week now when we go and start at Pocono in the final 4 round? It could be possibly, all top 4 playoff drivers in the top 4. So, or it could be just like this, where we could end up with another non-playoff driver. And, you don't have to be in the playoffs to win a race.
Daniel Krim, highest finishing position for him this season. Rob Haynes did as much as he could do tonight to get himself into the next round. But we will see where that takes us. As we are now working to try to get our podium finishers here to have a word with them. A very good run for a lot of these drivers here tonight. Two podium finishers for Hutch Sport. Go a long way as they were fifth or sixth in the team championship earlier on, as now we'll bring in our race winner tonight. That would be car number 57, Scott Ramler. Scott, a very, very good race for you here tonight. Had them covered all race long.
That I did. Just came out with a whole bunch of speed and decided to use that to my advantage until the fuel game took over.
How far did you have left to go? Because I was assuming that everyone was going to have to come in, but a couple of you guys managed to make it.
Well, at the moment, after doing a lap in reverse, I have 0.2 gallons left in the tank.
Oh,
so I'll probably get about 3 seconds of a burnout here and then nothing.
Oh, you got plenty. You got like 5 more laps left in it, bud. Scott, just your second race this season, and we've seen you a couple of times in places like Sim Racers Edge. You've always been very, very quick, but especially around these road courses, what has been the key for you at getting around these road courses as quickly as you have been?
It's just being smooth and making sure that your throttle inputs are mimicking having an egg under the throttle and that you're trying not to crack. These cars just absolutely love to light up the rear tires, and the more that you can conserve them, the better off you're going to be no matter what you're trying to do.
We go to Pocono next week, the penultimate round of the season. What are your thoughts going into Pocono, an oval racetrack that a lot of people say drives like a road course?
Pocono's pretty tricky, obviously, the tricky triangle. God, bad pun right off the bat.
I wonder where they came up with that.
But there's not a whole lot of markings that you can use for the turns at Pocono, so it's very easy to lose where you're at on the racetrack. It could cause you to apex early or way too late and really mix some guys up if there's a lot of traffic. So it could be a bit of a bloodbath if everybody's not adequately prepared, but there's a lot of good guys in this league, so I don't foresee there being any issue, but it's going to catch some people out at some point would be my prediction.
Anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Absolutely. Got a shout out to Ed Morris and the guys at Extreme for putting everything on. It was fun to come back for a couple of races. It's been quite a while since I've run in this league. I think almost about a year now. Got to thank Joe Hutchings and all the guys at HSR. They put in a ton of work. I think we swept, let's see.
Yes, you did.
Myself, Krim, Casey, I think Haynes, I'm not sure. I think he's with another team here. But, yeah, just absolutely killed it. All these guys did. They picked up on the strategy pretty well, so really, really proud of my guys.
All right, your race winner here tonight, just his second start of the season, Scott Ramler. Bud, congratulations.
Thanks, guys.
Now we'll go to our second place finisher here, Daniel Krim. Daniel, a solid run for you here tonight. There were a couple of close calls around your vicinity, but first, getting through that incident right at the start of the second stage, how did you make it through?
I almost didn't. I was right in the back of the one. I actually did tag him a little bit. Sent him a little wide just because I couldn't see anything in front of him. Really, my apologies to the one. I forget the guy's name. But I was right there pushing him into the turn one and didn't realize how everything was going on in front of him until we got through it. But I just kind of got lucky with the line I picked and was able to get through it unscathed, surprisingly. Because I think, what was it, 5, 6 cars involved with that?
Yeah. Uh, what was your key here tonight? We normally see you running around the top 10 and just trying to put in solid laps, solid races. But here tonight, able to keep the car on the racetrack and come away with your best finish of the season.
So far, for sure. If you had told me when I woke up this morning that I was going to have my first podium here with XMS and at a road course of all places, especially with how sick I was this morning, I didn't think I was going to make the race. I would have been, I would have told you we were lying. Um, Definitely the oval side's more my bread and butter. I had a shot at it at Dover. That one's going to be kicking me for a while. The fact I wasn't able to finish that race. Um, of course, I'm happy for my other teammates in HSR and Ramler going out here dominating all of us like he always does with these road courses. He's an alien, I swear. And then, of course, we got Carter Casey, who y'all are going to interview here in a minute, I'm sure. Um, but yeah, good to get on the podium with those other two guys there and get a good run here for HSR.
We go to Pocono next week. Unfortunately, you're not going to be in the championship 4. However, you still have one heck of a chance for the win. What are your thoughts and what's your mentality going into Pocono?
Pocono's a weird track for me. I've got good luck there, and I've had some weird luck there where I haven't had any at all. Uh, Either way, I'm going to come out and have fun and try to do what I can. I love racing there, especially with these kind of cars. So I guess we'll just kind of throw it sideways into 3 and see what happens.
All right. Anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Definitely, I got all kinds of different people on the car this week, so definitely we'll give a shout out to Detoured by Designs. They're right on the hood. All Star 15 TV, AJ and all the guys from Nerds Doing Nerd Things. Bronze Motorsports, Easy Lift Garage Doors out of Nashville. Uh, got the Drinking Brothers Auto Racing page on Facebook, and a huge shout out to McConey Setup Shop. They helped us out big time with the Daytona 24 this year, as well as for the racing setups for the other series in XMS with the multi-class racing, the GT3s and LMP1 or GTPs, I should say. Probably missing a few people. Not normally used to this, but hopefully I'll get a few more interviews with you guys and can try to name off everybody next time.
Make sure you write them down next time, Daniel. Congratulations. Your second place finisher tonight, Daniel Krim, bud. Congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
Let's move now to our third place finisher. That would be Carter Casey. And Carter, you pretty much exemplified the whole. Well, it may not be an eventful night for you, but it was a very successful one. Going from 5th position, fell back a little bit earlier on, but ended up coming back up through the field. A very solid run for you, and one of the few guys here in this second stage that actually had to make another pit stop.
Yeah, I miscalculated that last stint there. I wasn't really thinking about it. I just failed to practice as much as I needed to. So honestly, going into it, I figured we were good to the end, and then about 6 laps into it, I start catching Scott by 2/10 going in the bus stop, and I know something's wrong. Something's up because he was glass of the field. So then I go and look at the gas tank, and sure enough, I was a few laps short there. And at that point, I was committed. You gotta just run her till she's dry, and at least that's how I felt. I needed to strategize and just do a stop and go for fuel and go from there. But good clean run, kept the nose clean, so it was a good race from the guys out here. That was fun.
And another solid race for you. We're starting to get used to hearing from you here. How do you keep this consistency going as much as you have been over the course of the last about month and a half, 2 months now?
Well, I think there's kind of a weird, sort of a weird advantage of not wanting to push too hard when you kind of get around a group of drivers late in the run. You don't want to rub fenders unnecessarily, and then that kind of finds a balance. Incidentally, you find a balance of how to save the tire and how to save the car, and just be there to see the end. And I think I've been able to kind of find that balance here, just using patience and trying not to run these guys too hard. There was that incident off of going into 1. I'd have to go back and watch the replay as the cause of it, but I might have run the 99 a little bit wide off of 1 after that incident happened. Just trying to gas her up soon, and I just tried to get on the mic, let them know like, hey, I wasn't trying to run you wide there. So just using patience and just trying to be there to see the end. We had a Homestead just flat out just got out strategized. That's what happened there, and then Vegas we had an incident kind of put us behind the pit road wall, so we weren't able to see the finish there. But aside from that, it's been good clean running, and hopefully we continue that.
We go to Pocono next week, a racetrack that a lot of people say runs like a road course. What are your thoughts going to Pocono?
Oh, I absolutely love that track. Restarts are gonna be wild though, so you'll love it until you're probably 4 wide going into turn 2, and then you might think differently. But I enjoy that track, especially once things get spread out. So one of my favorite places to go. I wouldn't say I'm necessarily the fastest there, but I just love the unique factor that goes with racing at Pocono. I can't wait to run that one.
Anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Well, give a shout out to you guys for the broadcast. You guys do an excellent job. Daniel up here in the booth, and Ed, and everybody in the admin team that runs this league. I sort of have a newfound respect for what it takes to run a league, and it's not just as simple as hosting a lobby. There's multiple things that come into play there, so I have a newfound respect for the ethic that goes into running the league. So they do a good job over here, and just a huge shout out to Hutchsport Racing to get a 1-2-3 like we did with Scott, Daniel, and I. I think this is their bread and butter. They love road course racing, and anytime I get a chance to run behind Scott and kind of try and pick up some lessons, I'm all for that. So I think running with him, although it may have only been 2 laps tonight, but it still kind of made me a little bit better on these things. So we'll keep that momentum and go forward.
All right, your third place finisher here tonight, Carter Casey. Bud, congratulations.
All right, thank you.
And with that, Daniel, another one is done and dusted, and we go to the Championship 4 starting next week at Pocono. I cannot wait.
It's going to be an exciting event, here tonight. We had an exciting event. We saw playoff drivers have implications that ended their championship run. Getting a championship, a lot of engines getting blown, a lot of locking up in the brakes, a lot of rear ends spinning around, and exciting battles going on throughout the whole race here tonight. But now that our Final Four is locked, we're going to go to Pocono next week. And Pocono's, called the Tricky Triangle for a reason. That's because all 3 corners are named differently and feel differently. And we'll get more into that next week when we head to Pocono. But I'm sure it's going to be a heck of a battle between those 4 playoff drivers fighting for a championship. Because after Pocono, we're going to go to Phoenix to crown our champion. But if you're one of the 4 drivers that are going to be in that championship 4, you're not going to want to make a mistake next week at Pocono. So I'm excited to go to Long Pond. It's a very fun track, and I'm ready to go championship racing.
Absolutely. We don't have official word just yet on who is in and who is out, but we are anticipating that the 4 drivers that were in, Mike Rominger, Caldwell, Thwaits, and Ed Morris, those are the 4 that will be running for the championship. That's at least what we are expecting and anticipating here going into next week. But right now, let's take a look and see the finishing results here for tonight's race. Scott Rambler takes the win, a dominating win, 43.5 seconds. Carter Casey over Daniel Krim. Carter Casey coming home in third. Rob Haynes, Nicholas Weatherby rounding out the top 5. Michael Thwaits, Mike Rominger, Nicholas Caldwell, Austin Karp, and Nate Orlovsky coming home in the top 10. Alex Reeling, Alan Dobbs, Ed Morris Sr., Ed Morris Jr., and Gary Wells down to 15th. Joshua Vidal, Jacob Jensen, Paul Irvin, Josh Wren, Logan Koger down to 20th. Mike Campeggio and Michael Robinson only made it 1 lap here tonight, and Jacob Brower did not start. So that will do it for us here tonight from Watkins Glen. For my broadcast partner, Daniel Paulus Jr., I am Frank Marchese. We will see you next week from the Pocono Raceway in Long Pond, Pennsylvania. And until then, please remember, folks, as you walk down the road of life, please don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.